Welcome in to another edition of the Cavalier Connection. I'm Jeff, joined by Jay. How you doing tonight, Jay?
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a night off, and been a busy couple days since our last episode, so figured we'd hop on and hopefully have some good conversation about all the latest and greatest.
Yeah. If you're listening and you're tuning in, throw us some comments. We are live right now on X, YouTube, and Instagram. So throw us some comments, throw us some questions, and we'll act like we know some answers. But Tuesday night we were live, and Jay, they got the Price is Right game from back in the day with the little man, yodi yodi yodi. You had man. I can't believe we had it's the biggest episode we've had. One over 1,200 viewers. I'm actually 1,300 viewers because we showed it live on the following day as well. 1,300 viewers. We appreciate that. That's pretty cool. And 12 or 13 additional subscribers on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube, because I don't know, but we appreciate you tuning in. So yeah. I know basketball is hot at UVA, so we're benefiting from it, I guess, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, all three players on the roster are getting us a lot of excitement right now.
Yeah. So who's on the roster? Is it 4 on the roster? We have Elijah Gertrude. We have Chance Mallory. We have Silas Barksdale. And then we still have the walk-on has not gone out of there.
No, he went in the portal today, Jeff.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
I missed that.
Either last night or today, the walk-on went in the portal.
Well, dang, I got this nice little thumbnail here, and I could have added him into the mix.
Yeah, we didn't text about that one because, I mean, it's a walk-on.
I had to take this.
I just assumed you saw it.
I'd have had to take that Cavalier Connection logo off and throwing them in there. I was debating when making the thumbnail for tonight. You had on the left side, you got McNeely, you got Rohde, and at first I was putting they gone or the bad. And then I was trying to have the good on the other side. I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot to put Saunders, even though Saunders is neutral for me, because a hair neutral, because I think he wants to come back, but I think this is a maybe, reading, I think Zach Carey, I believe, had an article out. Sounds like it's more of a Odom, probably something Odom would rather.
Yeah, an Odom decision. I'm sure he probably told him, maybe you'd be better off somewhere else. I mean, I think he wants a clean slate, and he's basically got that. The only holdover who didn't play a single minute last year due to injury is Elijah Gertrude. So we know Elijah's got a ton of potential, but it'll be interesting to see him in an offense. Everybody always said, man, if we just got up and down the floor, Elijah would be so good. And so now we're going to get a chance to see that, I think, next year.
Well, the only thing with Elijah that, makes me nervous is just coming off of 2 injuries like he has. That's tough. Somebody who's so athletic as he was, and then to have what he had, the torn ACL coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And the scooter.
Being it was a scooter accident, or well, supposedly a scooter accident, I suppose. Maybe it wasn't, tough injury, but not basketball related. If that makes any difference, I don't know. But in my head,
the whole year.
Maybe it could.
He missed a whole year for it, so it's severe enough to miss a season.
Oh, definitely severe. I'm just saying that maybe.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We had some good news today, though, Jeff. You also had that up there.
Yep.
Congratulatory news, newsworthy.
Biggest picture up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations
Kymora.
to Kymora Johnson, All-American, honorable mention, well deserved. I mean, definitely my favorite Virginia Hooper to come through for the ladies team since Dawn and company. She's just so fun to watch. She's like a female Steph Curry. And I just love watching her play. I really hope, we lost Lattimore. We could have thrown her picture up there in the portal. She went to, I had it in my head.
Well, I feel like the ladies team was just like the men's team with the turnover that was happening.
Yeah, the only concern for me is like I don't know that the women's portal. I don't know that you're getting the top notch players. Maybe you are. I don't know. I certainly hope. She went to Ole Miss, I think, is where Lattimore
Oh
ended
yeah,
up.
I'm pretty sure it is Ole Miss. Yeah,
And because I remember thinking our friend Drew Lakey would be there. They have a UVA connection there, but yeah, best wishes to her. I have to imagine, like with the donation from Alex, Serena Williams' husband. I don't want to butcher his last name. You would think the money wouldn't have been an issue if that was it.
right.
I did see where she was reuniting with a coach she committed to out of high school there, so maybe that was something. But who knows?
Yeah.
See this comment here.
Steve says Odom was probably looking at foot speed and lateral quickness for some of these cuts. I don't know if he's talking about probably multiple players on the roster.
Yeah.
But Saunders is the latest to join the portal. So the team's now got 3 players and about 5 coaches. 4 coaches? And I think Kyle Guy's going to be on that staff. I was reading, and what's Kyle going to do? But Kyle was very complimentary of Ryan Odom. He said Ryan Odom wrote him a nice letter after the 2018 loss to UMBC that he really appreciated. So.
Yep. And
I
been
think
nothing but classy since he took the job. And I think you're right, Jeff. I think Kyle, I'm hopeful that he'll find his way back on the staff. And, we still got the GM position hanging out. Saw Jackie put out an article. Was that today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay, Jackie put out.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon. Jackie Franchuli put out a nice article on Curtis Staples for that general manager position. I was expecting a little more to come out maybe yesterday, and hopefully more to follow. But hopefully, friend of the program, Curtis Staples, is going to get an interview for that position. I think he'd do a great job. Definitely a position that Ryan wants, and it is needed in the landscape of college basketball now. So we'll see
And just
on
to
that.
be clear, I was going to say, just to be clear, I'm sure people that if they're watching us, they probably are aware of this. But Jackie Franchuli is the Adam Schefter of Wahoos 247. So if you want to see that article, go check her workout on Wahoos 247. I'm not sure if that article was behind a paywall or not.
It's not.
We are a subscriber.
I don't know if it is.
To their stuff.
Very interesting. No, I don't think it is. And very interesting too is Curtis stated that he's been in contact with Coach Odom, and before he got the job and after he got the job, and Coach Odom is well aware. Curtis is really seeking that position, and we're hoping as well for Curtis. But today we had new entries not entries, but new commits to from the portal. We had McNeely committed to Louisville. Daltz J, an ACC school. Hope he doesn't come and light us up for one of them 30-point games. But I think that's his playing time. It's a much different role at Louisville than he had at Virginia. There's some guards there already, so I'll be interested to see what that looks like for him.
Yeah, tough. IMAC was the guy I think everybody wanted back the most. So seeing him commit was a little bit disappointing, especially considering he stayed in the ACC. And you're going to have to see him. I assume they're on the schedule twice next year. You know, uh, that'll be difficult to see him come in a visiting uniform. Obviously no hard feelings there. I just wish he would have finished up at UVA, but it doesn't really matter what our wishes are. He made a choice, and as you said, we'll see what goes on at Louisville. They've got a lot. They've got the number 1 rated transfer class right now. They're probably going to be a top 10 in the country preseason team based on what they have. So he'll have every opportunity to play in a lot of big games, and I'm sure he's going to relish that opportunity. But he won't be the guy that he could have been here, possibly. At least I don't think he will. But we'll see. Louisville's a blue blood program, as I said the other day, and uh, better Louisville than UNC. I'll say that.
I agree. But I will say this, and we've seen two sides of McNeely, and McNeely can be locked down. And so I wish him luck. But when he comes to Charlottesville, and when we go to Louisville, I hope we lock his what down. And I'd like to like just straight shut him out.
Yeah, put a bagel on
Like,
him.
yeah, he can go score 25, 30 against Duke. He can do whatever, but when he plays Virginia, I want to lock his rear end down and send a message to him that, well, it's not always greener. Odom was on TV today, Field of 68 interview. Louisville's coach was on there at the same time. We could use a big splash transfer tomorrow.
I don't get caught up, Jeff, in the dates and when it happens. I don't think right now we need to. I have no concern at all that the portal's been a little slow. There's so many good
Yeah.
players, and we're very early, which means we have all of our money. Basically, we still have money, tons of money, ammo in the gun, so to speak. We got a lot of ammunition to go out and get good players. And honestly, IMAC was going to take a chunk of that if he came back. So, by him not coming back, that's more money to the pile. And, I have full confidence that we're going to build an athletic roster. I don't think, that this team's going to look at all like it's going to be. I mean, it is going to be a complete, because I'm not sure now that anybody's back outside of Gertrude. I think people said, well, just because they go in the portal doesn't mean they're leaving. And that's true. But in our team's instance, I keep looking and I don't know. Do you see anybody returning at this point? Because I'm kind of losing. I don't even want to say hope because I'm fine if they all leave, but I would like to see Robinson back and Kofi back. But if they leave, that's fine too. I mean, what do you
I
think?
don't know how much Odom's even recruiting our own players back. I don't even think he's recruiting them. Maybe Kofi, maybe Robinson, maybe Kofi. I don't know about Robinson. I don't think anybody's coming back. But the thing is, we saw this last year with Louisville. Last year also, Tony Bennett, at a little later time than this, the panic was in. It's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then all of a sudden, things started dropping. And so I'm not panicking at all. There's a lot of players that have to find a home. And we're not going to end up with Division III players on our roster. Like the roster's going to get filled out. I'm usually a little more pessimistic on certain. So my supervisor and me were talking today, and he's normally the one who's optimistic, and he was in panic mode a little bit today, and I was the one telling him. I said I quoted Aaron Rodgers. He said, "Don't quote Aaron Rodgers." I said, "Yeah, but listen, RELAX." I said it's going to be okay. We're gonna. we're gonna fill this roster in, and it's gonna be just fine. And I don't know how it's all gonna turn out. I do know it's gonna be a more athletic. I'm sure it's gonna be a more athletic roster. We don't know how it's gonna turn out at all, but I do believe that we're gonna fill the roster in. And I said I think we're gonna be competitive next year. And that's saying that with 3 people on the roster, and I believe we're going to be competitive. Even though I said I don't know who the players are going to be, I do believe we'll be competitive. Like I think you got Duke at the tip top, and then after them, it's like I think we can compete with anybody. We're going to be able to compete with anybody in the ACC.
I would put Louisville
Louisville too.
right there with Duke.
Yeah.
But other than those two, and who's to say we don't get the transfers. Now, a couple of guys, we did lose Davidson to Clemson.
Yep.
So we talked about him on the last show. So Nick Davidson committed to Clemson. That was kind of a big hit. We thought we had a pretty good chance of landing him, and we did not. So he's at Clemson. As for the other guys that we talked about specifically, I'm not sure if they have committed anywhere at this time or not.
I do not believe so. But we knew on yesterday we did get a commit. VCU commit. It changed over to UVA, and local 757 guy Silas Barksdale. And you texted me, and I knew I was feeling the same thing. You knew something big was coming because they started posting those videos. It's like when they would post when Bennett, that little sneak around the corner video they like to show of him.
Oh,
they were posting Virginia basketball videos, and so we knew some. Oh, and then Jackie's posting eyeball. People are posting eyeballs, and the excitement's coming out. You knew something was coming. And so we got Silas Barksdale yesterday, 6'9" forward out of Woodside High School. He's I don't know. He was a 3-star, and then now is a 4-star. Somewhere I guess we call him a 3.5. You can't go off of stars. TJ Power taught me just don't think about stars ever. But so we added Silas Barksdale, and now the question is, you think we're going to get a couple out of VCU transfers, Jennings, and that you're thinking that. The only thing I'm wondering is there any issues getting them into UVA? Like, that transfer, there's just always seems to be issues. Yeah. Something Virginia really needs to clean up, in my opinion. Like, college athletics is professional athletics now. So clean the crap up and just let the guys come. I don't care if they're taking, listen, personally, I don't care if they're taking basket weaving 101 to get their credits.
Just give them a degree in basketball operations. Make basketball operations a degree, and if that's what they want, if they want to go after something bigger, sure.
Right.
But for guys that come in a situation where they have a couple of years of classes, maybe they've got most of their gen eds out of the way and a few other classes, give them something that is attainable, because operations in sports is a big deal. I mean, just give them something, football operations, basketball operations. That's all you really need.
Podcast operations. I mean,
yeah.
So it's professional sports anyway. So, and look, that's taking nothing away from that UVA education. And it also doesn't take away from the quality of player that you get. We do want players. We don't want off the court issued players. We want high character guys. This country, we have, as bad as things seem sometimes, there's a lot of high character people, and we'll get to high character people. And some of those guys are going to want to become a lawyer or a doctor, and that's great. And UVA is a great university for that. Some of them are coming, this is school one before they'll end up at 3 different schools. So it don't even matter. Just get their rear end into the school and let them play basketball. Yep. And listen, if you're out there listening, throw a comment in against what I'm saying, for what I'm saying. I don't care. I know there's people out there who want to, say we're the grounds. We are, we're, special as a university. And I agree. But we got to be able to separate things because this is professional sports now. Steve Nicholson says he has a friend who was tutoring Jamil Tucker back in the day.
That's a name from the past.
That is a name from the past. Yeah. So
Did you
anyway, that's
want-
just my. What's
I
that?
was gonna say, did you want to watch check out for those who
Wait.
haven't seen anything on Silas? Do you want to go ahead and check out his clip,
Yeah,
Jeff?
yeah. I'll put it up there if you can hit the play button.
All right, you tell me when it's up there because I got to
It's
get
up.
off the.
Yep, it's up there.
Is it full screen?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. And there is no audio with this for some reason.
There's audio.
Oh, is it? I don't have any audio.
You just hear whistles. It's just a highlight reel of Silas.
Yeah. It's about a 3-minute clip. We'll check him out. You know, little screen there, little roll, nice little finish at the bucket. You know, 6'8". Maybe he's grown. He doesn't look 6'8" in this, but you know, high school cameras. You know.
That's Boo Williams.
Yeah, but this is playing against somebody. I think
In
Maine. So I mean, you know,
Maine,
this is from.
I'd like to know what year that's from.
I was gonna say, could that be Cooper's team?
I was thinking that myself. Now he looks big. Oh, that last shot they showed.
Yeah. What a pass there! Nice little dish. Hey, that's a little mover blocker act. You know, a little screen and
yeah, he looks a little different there. A little bit of rain.
Yeah.
Woodside is really good in this area. You're not from 7x7. They won back-to-back state titles, 23 and 24, and then got beat this year by Green Run.
Oh, they didn't win it this year?
No, Green Run won it this year. Then a tight. I think they won it. Green Run won by 2 or so.
Over
But that's not who
Woodside?
Green Run played.
Okay.
They eliminated Woodside, right?
Oh, nice little dish and finish by the other guy. He's got that little, you know, the little pick and pop game.
Chris Jenkins got a team there. Skills.
He's not afraid to go into the contact either, it doesn't look like. That's a good sign. Nice
they say he's got a back to the basket game.
Yeah.
And that Odom will use the back to the basket game like, you know, we haven't done in quite a while.
I enjoy the back to the basket game myself.
Too.
It's really hard to guard and not foul because you just don't see it really often. So the guys that are good at it,
one thing about it is you still gotta have shooters to win.
Oh, for sure.
3-point shooters.
Yeah, you're not winning stuff shooting twos in today's game. My least favorite shot on the floor, Jeff.
Oh yeah, I know.
A foot on the line. Why shoot the long two when you can shoot a short, you know, a little bit longer that's a 3? He's an attacking player, though. I like that.
A little ball handling there.
I'd like to see some defensive highlights, but you know they don't. Unless it's a big block, you're not going to see that. Gets position in the post, just backs down and gets to a spot.
So one thing about him is, you know, he's when he gets there, Mike Curtis kind of put some, and we said this about Blake Buchanan, going to have to put some weight on him. He's thin, razor thin. So, on the defensive side of the ball, if they're backing him down, that he's trying to get stronger. Yeah. And what I'm reading is, I don't know that, you know, I believe he's going to be a developmental project the first year. And I don't know. This is exactly what Steve is asking. Is he going to be strong enough, et cetera? And that's the question, because I think he's 6'9" and like 220 pounds, maybe.
I think I saw 220. Yeah, and I mean honestly, we should be bringing in guys from the portal that are more ready to play.
Correct.
Day one,
and that's what I'm saying. I think they'll have guys who are a little more veteran minded, stronger, you know, grown man strength, and hopefully Silas will get there. So if we're expecting him to save the program next year, then it's going to be a bad year, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the dude comes out and averages 20 a game, but that's just, I don't, realistically, I don't know that he's even going to,
Yeah,
play
realistically,
much.
I'm not sure that that's in the. I'm not sure that's even in the range of outcomes, of possibilities. But hopefully he can at least come in and give you 10 to 15 minutes if he needs to. He's a 4-star kid, obviously, so he's got talent, and
I just don't know if he's giving us that next year. I just think
yeah,
he's really, I really think he's one they're gonna put the meat on him when he gets there. As who was it? Elton Brown was talking about the cafeteria and feeding him up real good and fattening him up a little bit, and and
hey,
that
just
turned
have a
out the
PB and J and a glass of milk before bed every night.
That's right. That's right. And one of those drinks that's high in calories, the 350 calorie Ensure.
I'm trying to lose, and hopefully I can gift it.
Yeah, if I could take off of my stomach and donate
Yeah,
and put it muscle into him. So yeah, I mean, super talented. I think he's super talented. It's his frame is just gonna have to get a little stronger, and that's you come there. Mike Curtis get with you. Hopefully he'll, you know, put the weight on him, strengthen him up a little bit, and we get something solid for the future, because you got him and you got Chance, two freshmen. Gertrude's only a sophomore, so but once again, we have to think of these guys in 1-year contracts, because
right.
you figure half the team's going to leave from year to year.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jeff. As you were saying that about him not contributing much next year, it's like, well, do we even see the fruits of the labor of next year? But hopefully this thing settles down a little bit, with the rev sharing stuff, and I hope that the NCAA will do something with the rules to kind of quit some of this, whether it be a one free transfer rule, then you got to sit a year. Because if you put the you got to sit a year on the second transfer,
It
then
might deter it a little.
yeah, you're going to deter because of the money.
Right.
Like, now I got to pay you for 2 years, definitive,
Right.
like definitely, to maybe only get 1 year basketball. I don't know if they would do that, but um, it's navigating this new world of professional college sports is tough. It's tough. So glad he's on board, and Rohde going to Wisconsin. That was officially announced, I think, this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Good program. I'm sure he'll be a player that gets plenty of minutes. I mean, maybe he's the starter at point. I don't know. But I can see him fitting in with what they do. They remind me a little bit of Virginia. They got a little bit more athletic recently, but um, we'll see. Again, wish them nothing but the best. But they're officially gone, so the backcourt from last year is completely gone, and Saunders in the portal. A lot of people were kind of expecting him to stay. Now he's gone. Whether he was pushed in that direction or he made that choice on his own, either way, he's gone. So it's been a busy couple days, Joe.
Yep. Before we get out of here, I do want to say, let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give the campaign speech real quick. Curtis Staples, one last time. Carla, I know Carla is tuned in. Forward this over to Carla. Curtis is your guy. Go get Curtis Staples, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get that in place as we're trying to fill this roster out. Add the Curtis Staples to the mix. You got Ryan Odom, Curtis Staples, and that coaching staff. Go ahead and Coach Odom, go ahead and announce Kyle Guy onto the staff. Keep the the cohesion between the eras, and but we're pulling for you, Curtis, and we'd love to see Curtis Staples in that position as this roster gets filled out.
And you gotta figure, Jeff. I assume maybe Wally Walker's still in the background doing some GM type of things,
Yep.
but
Yep.
you've got to. I mean, many hands make light work. Right now, there's a lot of work to go around. So fill out that staff. Whether it be Kyle, whether it be Chase, whether it be Isaiah, and whether David Teal named some other names when he was on, I think, Preston Willett's podcast. Anthony Solomon, which that's the name I'm sure you remember, Joe.
Oh yeah.
He's been an assistant, a lot of different places. And then it was another name he mentioned that I can't recall right now, but it was an older school type of. It wasn't one of. I don't think it was one of Bennett's guys, if I remember correctly. So, it could be some flavor from back in that, before the Bennett era. But we'll see. I mean, we just need to fill out the staff. Definitely get Curtis in there and let him go to work, man. He's ready to go. I mean, because he knows it doesn't matter if you're Duke, Kentucky, Carolina, Louisville. Louisville came out. Somebody put out today. Louisville's got like $10 million in their basketball roster for next year. We're looking at spending about $7 million. So right there, that's $3 million difference in talent, potentially. That's a big gap. I mean, that's a big gap. That's 30% bigger budget than what we have. I mean, so not to say that we can't find the good players, but when you're talking to young men, Curtis said this. Doesn't matter if you Duke, Kentucky, Carolina, Tennessee, whoever. The first question is not, hey man, do you want to come play for Duke? The first question is, how much money can you give this guy? And that's what the players want to know. How much can you give me? The rest of it is all bells and whistles. It's nice. The football facility is great. The basketball, JPJ is an awesome arena. Nobody cares.
Not paying the bills.
How much can you pay me?
The other thing I was reading on X, somebody put an article out this afternoon today, and I don't even recall all of a sudden, but just talking about, once again, the fundraising, and people think the 1% are the top 1% of your donors, but really pushing for the Jay and Jeffs of the world who are not putting out that kind of money, but every dollar counts.
Sure.
You go to church and you got high people paying.
Throw a 20 in the offering plate.
Throw something in the offering plate. It all adds up. What's happening to Williford from IV4, and that's something we don't know, but I don't think Williford's going to be back. His name hasn't been mentioned at all. What was interesting?
Go ahead,
I was going to say is with Williford, they say that he really, what I've read, really disagreed with a lot of things that Bennett did on the floor offensively, and was very, a little bit on the combative side with him. Did you seen that stuff?
I have not.
Yeah,
I've seen where he didn't always agree, but I
that he really just did not agree with a lot of his principles on the offensive side. Really makes me feel like, dang, if Williford had got that job instead of Sanchez, and that's maybe why Sanchez was top dog for Coach Bennett too. But if Williford had got that job, what would it have looked like?
Right.
Yeah, but we'll never know. And I wish Williford the best. I love him to death, and he's a Virginia guy. And we always talk about the Virginia family. The UVA family is unreal. The closeness.
I would love to think that we could have him on one day, Jeff.
Yep. And maybe we have a shot now that he's probably unemployed from Virginia. But I'm sure you're going to see his name somewhere in the mix for something. So.
Could he decide I'm sure money's not he's not hurting. I'm sure he's made plenty of money in his career, as a coach. Could he decide, hey, I just want to go take over, a big high school program, like Curtis was running, one of the bigger, schools like that, or, lower level college job. Maybe he goes to a D2 school, just to get his head coaching feet wet, if that's what he wants to do.
Why can't he do what Sanchez did and go to a? I mean, Charlotte is, they're a little more
Yeah, I
than
think
a.
yeah, I think he could do something like that if he wanted to. I would have to imagine there would be some people out there that would love to have him as a head coach with his pedigree and just his ties to Coach Bennett,
Yep.
because Bennett is legendary.
And another shout out. Dang, my mind just went blank. Our walk on from Virginia that we had on the show earlier in the year went
Oh,
to school in New York.
yes.
And he was conference player of the year, wasn't he?
He was
Won
he got something. He got an award of some sort.
a big award.
Daggone it, Jeff. Why we got to be live and can't think of this?
Yeah,
Um.
I'm gonna come up with it. Read Ivy's comment there on the screen.
Okay. Enjoy listening to Staples on your show. Played with him. Oh wow, played with him at Oak Hill. Sweet. Hope they bring him in. He sounded like he wanted to come back. We need alum still on the program. Feels weird to have ex VCU. Yeah. And me and Jeff are not VCU fans at all, being ODU guys. But it is what it is. Jeff, I'm gonna find this name real quick because I'm gonna pull up the list of people we've interviewed. I know it's Tristan Howe.
Tristan Howell, yes, thank you.
Congratulations to
Virginia
Tristan.
Beach. Yeah,
Glasses
player
can
from
come
the
back off.
Yeah. He said he added to the end of his comment, we need alum on the program. Feels weird to have ex VCU players now on the staff. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
you got Theus, and I think there's one other. But those guys are with him. Shows Odom is loyal. We'll see. Bottom line is they're going to wear the Virginia now. The orange and blue now, and I'd love to have Kyle on staff because he did so much. The 2019 team will never be forgotten. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out something soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I just want to hear the news that Curtis is getting an interview, and then we'll go from there. I think he gets in the door. It's like I tell folks, listen, all you gotta do is get in the door, and you get in the door, then you can sell yourself. And I know he's gonna sell himself well because he has a lot to offer and bring
Yep.
to the program. So, I'm super excited for the potential of Curtis getting that job. But
Question.
Go ahead.
Question before we go for is IV4.
Yep.
Did you play did you go on to play ball? If you were playing Oak Hill, I assume that high level player. Maybe he'll get back in before we get out. But always interesting to talk to the guys that especially at a program like Oak Hill. My gosh.
When we had Curtis on, I wish we could bring on somebody like an IV4, like a surprise guest, to pop in. Or played at George Mason. Okay.
Okay.
So you were at George Mason. What years were you at George Mason? You were there. Were you there like 90?
He was there while we were at ODU.
At ODU, sure. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We were at ODU
I was
from
at ODU from go ahead.
To 2000 or 97 to 2001 for you.
Yeah. Well, I had so much fun in 4, I decided to turn 4 into 5. So 97 to 02.
I was just there. I was there. And IV4, Jay and I, we are ODU intramural champions. We weren't.
That's right.
We I know that Coach Capel at the time was out scouting us, at the intramural championship games. But
I do remember seeing Jeff Capel, Duke Jeff Capel, now Pitt head coach Jeff Capel, playing pickup games in the field house.
He played in the A-League intramural league at ODU. Ain't that crazy, Jay? He was down with his dad and played A-League intramural basketball at ODU, and now he's coaching Pitt. He's coached
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma.
VCU.
That's right. He coached flipping Blake Griffin. Yeah. And he was sharing the court with us.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't in the same game, and thank God. I said we won a championship, so he wasn't in the same game as us. And also, I remember I don't remember Jason playing, his brother, but Jason was there at the basketball game. So, yeah, I don't know if Ivy.
Hold on, let's see. I'm getting I got a message on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, it's just somebody trying to tell us that Wisconsin got Rohde. So yeah, we talked about that one.
Yeah,
but yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this one up tonight. Probably more news to come here in the coming days. The one thing about it, we've already said, it's kind of like NFL free agency in Charlottesville, and it's got to be 3 players. 1998 for IV4. Yep,
Awesome.
that was right. We CAA basketball.
We loved that thing. Went to the tournament in Richmond every year. That was the best.
Was George Mason Larinaga at that time?
That I'm not sure on. I would venture to say yes, but he,
Look, I'm so old. Lefty Drizel was yeah. He said yes.
Yes.
Lefty Drizel was the coach at JMU when I went to ODU. When my first year at ODU, Lefty Drizel was JMU's head coach.
Oh wow, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, but
that was back when ODU, they were good.
Oh, okay, but, Westhead recruiting.
Okay, yeah.
That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, I wish we could have brought, and maybe next time we have Curtis on, we could bring a surprise, couple surprise players.
Yeah.
We could do some questions to Curtis to have him guess who's coming on. You remember we had Jeff Jones on, and we brought in his surprise, one of the greatest UVA players ever, and our friend
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh. Yeah, but yeah. So yep. Thanks for commenting, IV4, and yep. We hope your guy is going to get that GM job. So
he hates VCU just as much as we did. From George Mason.
I worked at the sports information department for ODU at the time, and they told one of our operations guys we were at the Scope, and they said the next time y'all step foot in Richmond in the VCU, I'm gonna have you arrested. It was heated battles. Yeah, and VCU game was always a packed house. So
yep.
And now we got a VCU, but he's not a VCU guy. He's a UVA guy, and Ryan Odom.
I wish we'd have had the Ted when we were there. Good God, having to get in the car and go over to Scope.
There was nothing better than them having those few home games at the field house.
Oh yeah, get it right, get it tight before you went in.
Get your and then come out with the $5 leftover Papa John's.
That's right. Pizza. Large pizza, $5 on the way out the door.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah. So we'll wrap this one up tonight. Thanks to everyone who joined us. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We do appreciate everyone who's been tuning in. I don't know what what's going on, but we really appreciate it. Had really good numbers as of late. We're just fans like the rest of you. So when you tune in, throw these comments in at us. We can just commiserate or celebrate all together. We'll read comments all night.
Yep.
So more news to come. We don't know what it is, but when we hear it, we'll talk about it. We hope everyone has a good night. Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.